Less than a round later, Guida's knee gets tore up because Claudio Puelles notches his third knee bar finish in his UFC tenure, which technically should be four because he also has a knee bar victory on The Ultimate Fighter. So this dude is a knee bar specialist who somehow, some way doesn't train knee bars. So I don't know how he gets the knee bars, but the knee bars just keep on coming. Aside from the grappling exchanges, bro, I think that this was just a good performance by Puelles, man. I think Clay Guida does what Clay Guida does, man, and he wins or loses. Like, he lives and dies by it. But this was just super impressive by Puelles. What did you make of the performance in its totality? All 11 total strikes that were landed by Puelles. What did you make of it?
Man, those times in life where you have to perform. You've been saying all this stuff. You've been building yourself up, telling all your friends, "I'm gonna whoop this dude." Now the time to show up and actually perform. Man, Puelles looked like he hasn't eaten in 3 days. He was hungry out there, man. He saw his meal sitting there. He said, "I don't care how hard this meal out here works. I'm gonna get him." And Puelles showed up, bro. Puelles looked crazy. It was wild how, because we all know how fast, how quick, how hardworking Clay Guida is in anything he does, man. Whether it's on the ground, on the standing, Puelles was matching, if not outpacing him, and keeping it going, man. Pressure, pace, power, everything was going for Puelles. It was impressive, man. That was literally the first note I wrote. This dude looks like a hungry animal. Hasn't eaten in 3 days. He's out here. He's ready to go, man. It was very, very impressive win for Puelles on my time.
Brother, I agree with you completely. It's crazy to me because significant strikes, it's a crazy stat. He lands 1 of 3 significant strikes in this fight. Clay Guida, 3 of 4 significant strikes. There's no offense, man. It got down to the grappling, and Puelles, the one thing about him is his jiu-jitsu is so good. He's willing to engage. You want to take me down? Please. Like, come on, do it. Because I'm going to invert. I'm going to grab a knee. I'm going to do something. I'm going to grab a triangle. Because I'm pretty sure he had Guida tried to lock him up in a triangle. He had to switch it to an omoplata. That none of those things were working. So what does he do? He says, all right, well, I'm just going to dive for the leg. Knee bar is there. Boom, done. And that was the fight, man. And Clay Guida, you could see the disappointment on his face. But let's talk about Guida's situation. This was the last fight on his 4-fight contract. Do you think he gets his contract renewed by the UFC, especially losing in a devastating fashion like this? He has now lost, I believe, 3 of his last 5 fights. So that's pretty rough. What do you make of it?
Lost 3 of his last 5 is 40
40 years
plus
old,
years
yeah,
old.
yeah.
40 years old. Now you're on a 6 to 13 month rehab for that knee, because that shit definitely popped. I don't know, man. I mean, they might reinstall that contract, but I don't know if the father time is on Clay Guida's side right here, man. That's a lot of rehab, especially for a 40-year-old guy kind of coming back. And we know the UFC has the top of the notch stuff, so he's more likely to do it than not.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my biggest holdup, more so, is that recovery time from that knee bar, because that thing was extended, man. And as far as the contract, I think I can see them giving it to him. I'm not too concerned about that. I can see the UFC being like, yeah, if you're down to scrap, we got you a couple. And he's still mentally strong as well. You know what I'm saying? He's not stumbling too much. He's still on his game. So we see that. I think if the knee's ready and if he's performing well, I think they give him the contract. What about you?
Well, listen, if they give Matt Brown these legacy contracts, why wouldn't they give Clay Guida? Clay Guida is a bad man, and he's still beating up on people. And speaking of what we were talking about for the early stoppages for the Velasquez situation with Carmouche, right? If, what was it, Keith Peterson? I don't remember who the referee was, but if they didn't give Guida ample time to be able to recover from that Santos kind of beating that he was taking, he never would have got that win. So apples and oranges, I don't know. But so I agree with you. I don't know if they're going to give him another shot, but I hope that they do. Like I said, the Matt Brown example. Here's my last question on this scenario. Clay Guida, is there any shame fighting in the Bellators? Is there any shame fighting in the Eagle FC? Is there any shame fighting in the PFLs? We were already kind of talking about this, but like, if he has success at these lower levels, even though they're, still top-notch organizations, he's Clay Guida, brother. I think that he wants to fight, and if any promotion that allows him to fight, UFC or not, I think he'll take the opportunity. I don't know the man, but I just have a feeling he's a game dude like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And I don't think there's any shame in fighting in those organizations, especially if you're killing it, man. Go make that $1 million in the PFL all day long. Like, there's, if you got to pay your family, man, ain't no shame in that game. However, you got to get it done. That's what it is. So I say fight wherever you can, man. Bellator, PFL, Eagle FC, anything that's keeping your name in the lights and your family fed, by all means, man. I think that's very important. I'd like to see him too fight some of the other stuff. We can see kind of where the rest of the world stacks up.
Absolutely. And if not, let's just keep him on the Legends Victory Tour, right? He already did it, right? But, like how the Jim Millers, even the Bobby Green, even though he's an OG, he's still a game cat, you know what I mean? But all these legend fights. Claudio Puelles, on the other hand, last thing that I got, last thing I promise on this one. Claudio Puelles, man, I just think that he's ready for a legit opponent next. I'm not saying Clay Guida isn't, but I'm talking about ranked. You feel me? I think that he's ready. He's killing it. Submission threat is nasty. Laser beam of a left hand. Great win by Claudio Puelles.